measures taken by the city of the security to state's advantage in this sector, in line with the mandate the general had and putting food. Kwara State had visited Maiduguri, the capital of the state, following residential houses, shops, markets, schools, and hospitals. The three-governor delegation included the governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, and his Lagos State counterpart, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. They were later joined on the visit by some members of the National Assembly. The visit was also to pledge their support for the Borno government and to convey a message to the federal government of further support to cushion the sufferings of the victims. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, who thanked the delegation for their visit, conducted his colleagues around some of the affected areas of the state capital while soliciting for their support for the victims. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has advised governments, emergency managers, and relevant bodies to make use of weather forecasts for effective planning. The NIMET Director of Applied Meteorological Services, Mrs. Glory Onyebule, gave the advice at a National Agency Coordination Forum organized by the National that NIMET, in fulfillment of its mandate, issues seasonal climate predictions for the entire country. She advised emergency managers to be proactive, adding that those responsible for dams should protect the integrity of the facilities. Onyebule added that flooding might continue to reoccur unless enough efforts are made early to take care of the places in the flood plain. As Ondo State governorship election draws near, media practitioners have been charged not to forget the place of ethical practice in their conduct and reportage of the electoral process. At a media engagement organized by the International Press Council and Center for Media and Society, the media practitioners deliberated on ways to deepen coverage, drive inclusion, and enhance the democratic process. Osrc Said Aribisala has more.
Electorate in Ondo State will head to the poll on November 16, 2024 to decide who governs the state for another term of 4 years. To adequately enhance the activities of the media in the build-up to the D-Day and post-election, the International Press Center and Center for Media and Society, CIMESO, brought together journalists and media leaders from both private and government-owned outlets in the state for a media engagement. In attendance are directors of news, programs and operations of the Ondo State Radiodivision Corporation. In his address, the executive director of CIMESO, Dr. Akingbulu, emphasized that the training is designed to improve the ability of media platforms to provide comprehensive coverage of the elections.
Enhancing the capacity of professionals to deal with electoral misinformation and disinformation, enhancing the ability of media platforms to deepen the coverage of the electoral process and delivery of civic and voter education, strengthening the use of FOI law and access to electoral information, enhancing the capacity of the broadcasting regulator to better perform its mandate, improving the engagement of the media and promoting the participation of women, of youths, of people with disability and other marginalized groups.
Also present is the Executive Director of the International Press Center, Mr. Lanre Arogundade, who stressed that a well-informed electorate is crucial for strengthening the credibility of elections.
Some of these challenges were excavated after the 2023 general elections. So there's the problem, for example, of perception about how the election went. there is the challenge of people's lack of understanding of the electoral processes, the processes it takes to declare results, what the law says. So to that extent, civic and voter education becomes very, very important.
The opening session of the engagement was followed by a technical discussion led by media veteran Tunde Abiodun. The conversation delved into the electoral trajectories in Ondo State since 1999, with participants actively joining the discourse, sharing their experiences and reflecting on the actions of political players that have influenced the election process and outcomes over the years.
They should be accurate, they should be fair, they should balance their report, they should be ethical. Ethical is the issue, professionally.
The session also addressed several key issues of concerns in the upcoming election, including vote trading, voter apathy, marginalization, among others.
Despite the very tough and sensitive situation in 2007, because I was part of that election, so journalists in Ondo State were very responsible in what they report.
The spotlight was also on programming towards the 2024 elections and advancing salient issues, engaging stakeholders, institutions, and formats and language in the delivery of voter education.
This basically election coverage and reportage has exposed me to nitty-gritty. I need to know.
The media too must step up their game to avoid spreading of fake news.
We are able to reach out to people at the grassroots, and that will continue to do it through sensitization.
The practitioners believe more synergy between the media and relevant institutions will enhance the conduct of elections in Nigeria. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has directed payment service providers, PSPs, to begin the tracking of all point-of-sale POS transactions. Efforts to mitigate the concerns regarding channeling all point-of-sale POS transactions through a single aggregator, the CBN on April 19, 2024 granted a second PTSS license to Unified Payment Services Limited. The United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, says it has entered into a partnership with journalists, government officials, and other relevant stakeholders to end open defecation and eliminate neglected tropical diseases (NTDs) in Nigeria. Speaking at a two-day media dialogue on ending open defecation in Nigeria and eliminating neglected tropical diseases held in Lagos State, UNICEF's Chief of Water, Sanitation and Hygiene, WASH, Jane Bevan, emphasized that the partnership is essential to bring the campaign to every corner of the country. While highlighting the dangers associated with open defecation, Bevan noted